If you're watching this, this is for the Region 5 officers, basically the executive board and the people who are on the Regional Affairs Committee. We're going to be doing a project. We're going to be evaluating and scoring all of our 15 chapters websites in an effort to try and figure out what we can do to make recommendations in order to make better websites. So the objectives, we're going to use a scoring rubric that I'm going to show you in a moment. I did share it during the last ROC meeting, but now we're going to try it out. And I did tweak it slightly since then as I practiced the demo I'm about to show you. All of your 5 evaluations will be sent to Elier, who is the chair for the regional affairs, and myself, both of us. We're going to put them together into an Excel document and analyze it. I may be doing the analysis. I'm happy to do that. It'll identify overall, like all chapter strengths and then weaknesses, and then we'll narrow it down to recommendations for each chapter. After that, we're going to prepare a report, but that's after the initial results are put together. We'll put together sort of a draft. It'll be sent out. We'll meet as a group. We'll talk about it, and we'll put together basically the final agreed upon report that'll go out to all the chapter leaders. 2 weeks after that, we're hoping to host either the first of or the one training session to help everybody, all the chapters, whoever's designated as the person who does it or anybody who's interested, to sit in and then learn what they need to do in order to update their chapter website. The justification is the primary thing we're supposed to be doing is engaging and informing. And the chapter website, maybe arguably, is the basis for that. And so we need to make sure that it is up to date. Everything kind of goes back to our chapter websites. And of course, it starts at the regional, and I know the region needs to be updated. And so I'm just as guilty as anybody else, even more so probably. We also want to promote ASSP in the profession, and we don't want to forget that. We want to make sure that it's promoted through our chapters, yes, but then come out of our other means of contacting our members and the community. Last is creating a support system for not only our members, but our local communities that we serve, our technical communities that we serve or specialized, but then also the profession itself. We want to make sure that we're providing that too. And it all kind of goes back to the website kind of being that source. So the project timeline, we've met twice already. Not everybody's able to make it, but I'm still assuming you're all on the squad. Today's the 29th. I'll be getting this video out today. Sorry, I didn't realize this was so loud. I pushed that away a little bit. So this is the starting point. This is where you're all going to be assigned the chapters that I want you to review, and I'm going to demonstrate how to use the rubric and how to fill out the score sheet. Everybody is doing 5, and out of the 9 of us, that makes 45, which means each website will be reviewed 3 times. One of the things I'll be doing is looking at inter-rater reliability on that and to come to some sort of agreement with what the results really mean. Next is by January 2nd. So get in all of your results by December 12th. I'll show you. It doesn't take long. I mean, I was playing with it quite a bit, but really the actual time it takes is maybe 15-20 minutes total per as you go through and you find things and you provide the comments. So this should take you anywhere from maybe... Some of you may go really fast, I'm sure. So maybe 45 minutes up to an hour and a quarter. No more than an hour and a half to finish it. And you get 2 weeks to get that done. Get it to Elier and myself. And again, all this stuff is coming out to you. I'm just putting together this video as a reference. Elier and I will try and get a report to everybody to discuss on January 2nd. We'll kind of work through it. We'll report to the leaders by the 16th. So draft to final draft by the 16th, and then I'd like to have the first training session January 30th, but we can push that back, of course. This is being very aggressive, I think, very optimistic. And there may be additional training sessions to say, based on what we find, we'll decide how many more we need. And then I believe we'll send out a reminder 4 weeks before our ROC, which will be mid-March, if I'm not mistaken, letting everybody know, hey, you need to get all your stuff updated and done because you're going to be presenting what you've done at the ROC meeting. In addition to that, everybody will be updating us on their comp progress. And, leader transition. This is a good starting point. Here are the assignments. I try to do this somewhat randomly, but I try to also assign chapters that are outside of maybe people you might know. So I'm going to be doing these 5. Carrie's doing these 5. You can see I had to split it up at the end, but each chapter does have 3 check marks. Every person on this committee has 5 to do. So here's the layout. I'll be sending this out, so you don't have to be writing it down feverishly, but I'll be sending this out as well. So this is how I broke it down. If you need, if it helps you, you can go to the Region website. We do have a tab that has all the chapters, and you can just click on it and go straight to the website, the homepage of the website, and you're off and running. Here's the updated rubric, and I have, again, having used it in practicing for this, I also want you to make sure you post the website URL and copy and paste the homepage. I found that to be very advantageous, and I'll show you why in a moment. And then we're going to rate the overall homepage and presentation of it, the About tab, which I think everybody has, though it varies what's in it, news and events, sponsorship resources and promotion of things, and then finally the place where people have, you have your newsletters, minutes, agendas, and an overall schedule so people can look at it and know either what's upcoming or, it might give them an opportunity to plan out, what they might want to go to. And this should be both chapter and society, and maybe that's something I should build in at some point. Here is what a scoring page looks like. So each of you will be receiving this document. So we've got 5 chapters, and you can leave it 1 through 5, or you could put in there actually the chapter name. That would be ideal. Otherwise, you put the chapter name in here, you put the URL here, you'll copy and paste the web page. And if you don't know, if you're using at least Firefox, I believe it is it Control-Shift-S, and then you can copy from a page. I'll make sure that I confirm that. And then you go through and just go ahead and score each of them out of 20 and provide the justification and comments. I have the rubric on each page, so you can look over here and read if you want to decide what it is. So here is the results of my Bakersfield. I'm going to go to the actual Bakersfield site and kind of show you what I did. So here is a copy of the home page. I don't have the URL on here. Don't worry about that, but I did write this in. Chose this because it was recommended in one of our meetings that they do a very good job, and I agree. So their homepage, they're already announcing something they have in March. Wow, that's fantastic. Now, I think there are 2 or 3 other photos, like they have one with like a Bakersfield, which is really cool, and I can't remember what the third one is. But look at this. They've got a December meeting set up here, the January, and then this March one. I think that's really good that they're promoting it months in advance. That's good. They have 3 job openings right here, all within the last couple of weeks. One from today. That's crazy. They've got news. Now, it's from August, and it's establishing a safety fund and wise mentoring. So they could do a little bit better there. I don't know if I nicked them on that. Maybe I didn't. Maybe that's something I should have nicked them on. And a nice little, this is longer, but it's a nice welcome message. And I think the welcome message should be both, it talks about what ASSP is, it should talk a little bit about what the chapter's about, and be very inviting, what it's about. So this could actually be improved. So I think if I was to redo it, I may actually give them an 18 versus the 20. I'll go into the other stuff. That's the only one I could really look at right here. But the one thing I took off some points for when you get to the officers page, we have officers, but how do you know it's updated? Unless it's put in there that this is the 2022-2023 officers, and if you have any questions, please contact this person. Lacking that, it's hard to know what to do, and I have had people contact me, students, previous people who have asked for help. I'm like, yeah, contact the president, vice president, and they never hear back. So it would be good if each chapter designated if there's any questions, or if a question's from a particular area, they would be designated, and they didn't have that. On the other hand, I did the Los Angeles chapter. I chose them because I looked at last year's reporting, and it said that they were in trouble. I'm just going to keep it real basic here. No upcoming events, no job openings posted. Their chapter news is over 2 years old. Their last newsletter is over a year old. The welcome message was really kind of bland. And they had 2 pictures of the ocean and 1 of the city. So nothing really inviting or anything like that. I actually gave them a 10 out of 20. Why? Because that's a pretty low score. That right there is 50%. Probably could have gone even lower with it because, it looks like an abandoned house. And I think that's what I had said. Yeah, it looks like an abandoned house. So I gave them The 70% on about news and events, gave them a 6 out of 10 for resources sponsorship. And I put everything in here indicating, what they had available, what I could find. And I'll send this PowerPoint along as well so you can kind of see how that scoring went. But we can take a look at it and kind of talk about it too. So if I shut this down, it should go straight to the Bakersfield. So they've got, again, this sign for Bakersfield. They've got that. And so it's only 2. Okay, but it's still good. This is a nice inviting. It talks both about the chapter and ASSP in general. The chapter news, it'd be nice if there's something a little bit more updated, but they do have updated newsletters. So if I go to the About tab, they've got chapter officers. They've got 3 student sections, which I've never even heard of these. They've got a chapter history, which is kind of interesting. So if I click on the chapter officers, this is where I would expect to find, who do I contact if I have any questions, or maybe if I'm interested. This would be a good place to actually promote self-nominating yourself for a position for next year. So we've got the officers, the email. I'm trying to see if I roll over it. Bakersfield president-elect. It would be nice if these were chapter officers and they provided the dates in which this is viable. Only the executive board has email. All the rest does not. Oh, this dude does. This dude does. That dude does, but it's random. They have a lot of people on here. They must have a big thing. I think they actually have a member tracking as well. The sections really don't provide much. So I'll go to the first one. And sometimes you want to contact the section, and you can't do it. There's nothing here. It'd be nice to know a little bit more about Bakersfield College, what kind of degrees they provide. We go to the groups, and they both have specialty groups of the Hispanic safety professionals and WISE, and both of these pages are updated, and they do a really good job promoting people to join their efforts and what they have going on. I think that's pretty cool. Their news tab, they have chapter news and chapter photos. I believe the news, now there wasn't much on the front, so it's only the Safety Fund and the WISE mentoring program, and then the links, the automatically generated ASSP safety podcasts. I think they could have done better here. I think they could have brought actual chapter stories from their newsletters, or linked their newsletters here. We're not going to go to the photos. For awards, they give out and promote themselves really well. So this is what's really interesting. And I think this gives you fodder for other forms of social media. And so this is really impressive too. They do a lot of award type stuff. And I think somewhere in here I also saw nominate yourself. So they provide for their members for sure. From an events perspective, they've got their upcoming events. They got their ASP. So we saw that on the first page. They're really promoting it. They're doing a good job. For education, they provide reimbursement for pursuing a BCSP certification. They celebrate their certification recipients. They also have some other scholarship program and talk about the scholarship recipients. It's really awesome. So if you're going to do it, get a lot out of it. They have a chapter library and safety links. And this is both like national and local links. And then the jobs page is the final one. But the chapter library, this is very impressive. If it ever comes up, don't make me start singing now. So, everything we've kind of seen so far has been impressive. But this is impressive. They've got their updated bylaws from 2020. And look, they've got all kinds of stuff here that's just great. Their forms are all here. Their member updates. So from October, they have updates on, who what do they call it? It's not re-enroll, is it? Rejoined? I don't know, up their membership. Ones who need to be reminded or poked. So this is a nice running total of what's going on. They've got their November 22 newsletter already posted, and it goes all the way back here. This is really incredible. And then they've got presentations. I think, but I'm not sure, that this is something that comes from society, but I'm not exactly sure. If this is the actual presentations that they provide to their members, that's crazy awesome. I didn't break down the actual education, so this is the first time I've seen this. You and me. Hard to tell. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if this was a local thing or not, but possibly, and that's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. All right, so let's look at the LA. First of all, when you search for it, it doesn't even go to the homepage. It always goes to something else, but this is pretty void. So they've got three, like I said, they have a city picture, and then there are two pictures of the beach. The web browser is going really, really slow because that's it. That's all they have. Nothing really personalized. No upcoming events. No job openings. The chapter news is really old, and the newsletters, the latest one was July of 2021, so it's been a year. It's been a minute. The welcome message is very broad general. Takes you to the chapter officers, which we can just go up here under the about. They've got executive, past presidents, history, territory, awards on it. Chapter bios are very old, from 2017. So even though they received platinum in the 2021 cycle, nothing's really happened since then. I don't know if these things are current. The first 4 have emails, the rest do not. See, they got platinum 2020, 2021, but it's kind of questionable, with the bylaws being as old as they are and everything else. Their groups, they have one for the Hispanic. This is about the only positive, I believe I found. They talk about it, how to become a member. Here is something from 2022. This is the only thing I saw as an update. I think he's the president, actually. So maybe that's why. For sections, I didn't even really look at it. For news, they talk about having 400 members. Oh, that's interesting. So the Hispanic updates their stuff. News. So you don't know the dates. There's nothing about years. I have no idea what these dates are. It's got the ASSP automatically generated stuff over on the right. For files, I don't think there was much of anything because I think it's just a handful from like 2020 and 2021. Oh, goes back to 80. So it's still just a handful. The bylaws are old. The presentation's over here. I'm trying to see. These are local ones, but here's one from 2022. Interesting. It would be good if all these things had dates on them, when it was offered, things like that, so we have a better idea. So this looks to be updated. So that's a little bit impressive, but I did give them a little bit more for this when I rated them. They still deserve an F grade. There's nothing under jobs, under resources. It's all national stuff, something that could have been put together years and years ago. Yeah, so nothing really local that chapter members could take advantage of. So that's really everything I wanted to show you. I could go back and just kind of show you my scoring. Now that I've looked at it again and talked about it again, yeah, I would have altered it a few points left or right. But for the most part, I think this one pretty much would stay the same. Even with those updated information, I just don't know when it was from, other than I found a little 2022 there. But again, it tends to be more of the national stuff or the society stuff, not a lot of local stuff. So gave it 55, where again, with the Bakersfield, yeah, I probably would have maybe lowered their homepage a little bit, maybe down to an 18, but they're still, maybe 19 even, just a little tick. So they're still going to be in the mid 90s, still getting an A. So I hope that helped. Just do the best you can. Be consistent, because when we throw it all together, that's when it'll make you're not the only one evaluating a chapter. 3 people are, and we'll bring it all together. And you may not see what this is going to look like later. I've done similar studies like this before, and so I know what it's going to look like. Again, it's going to be a comparison amongst all, but then also the rating within. So it's within groups and between groups. It's a research method. I gotta shut up and get you guys working, so let me know if you have any questions, but otherwise, again, if you could just dedicate an hour to an hour and a half to get through your 5, submit it to Ellie and I, then we can put it together and start doing the analysis. Thanks again.